Hi, everyone, and welcome to a presentation that we're doing with John Fraser. And I met John, funny enough, I met John online through LinkedIn, and I really loved what John was doing. And I said, John, I need to find out a little bit more, actually a lot more about what you do. And I wanted to ask you some questions and have everyone that's listening to us listen to how cool the industry is that you're in. How did you fall into your line of work and what you do?
Yeah, well, first thing I want to say is that, yeah, it's what I do is really fun, and it's good to be John.
John, nice.
I literally did fall into this work. I'm an AV tech and a logistics specialist for live events, workshops, seminars, and that sort of thing. And I started out as a participant. So I went to my first evening. I don't know if you know T. Harv Eker, Peak Potentials training.
Got them all. Okay. Yeah.
I went to their very first evening. And it was a free evening. I walked in, the music was pumping. The room was set up really cool, like nothing I'd ever seen in a workshop room before. Everything was mint. The staff was there. They were all like greeting people. They were all wearing staff shirts. You could tell who they were. But for me, really, because I'm a music guy, the music was pumping and it was stupid loud. And I was like, this is friggin' awesome.
Nice.
So I bit into Peak Potentials hard, like right away. And I started going to all their events, Millionaire Mind Intensive, Warrior Camp, Wizard Camp, Life Directions, everything.
Wow.
And I was also starting to work with a woman named Callan Rush, and she was just starting off doing her own stuff.
I know Callan actually very well. That's awesome.
Okay. Okay. And this was before Callan was Callan. This is like her and her dad doing workshops, little tiny stuff. I started working with her a little bit, like doing some audio. So at these live events, I started going to their audio and their video people. I was like, how do you do that? What's that song? Like, what are you playing there? What's why are you doing what you're doing? And I would just take notes, like, boom, 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 boom,
cool.
Filling out my little notebook. I pestered them so much that after about a year and a half as a volunteer, I met one of their audio guys at another event. And I was like, dude, if you're ever hiring people, give me a call. Like, I want to jump into this both feet. You guys are the guys to go with. About a month and a half later, I got a phone call out of the blue. It was Tony Scrace, the head of their whole AV department. He said, hey, we're growing, we're expanding, we're looking to take on people, and I hear you're interested. And I'm like, dude, sign me up. He said, can you be at the airport on Thursday? I was living in this little town in British Columbia called Vernon.
Oh, yeah.
Near Kelowna. Little tiny town.
He goes, can you be That's great.
Can you be at the airport for Thursday? I'm like, totally can be at the airport. Where am I going? He's going, you're going to New York City, the Manhattan Center, 4,800 people in the audience. Wow. We're going to take you on. We're going to get you like right off the jump. You're going to be doing stuff. So I showed up New York City, first time ever there, blown away, walked in a room, 4,800 people. They had me running a video camera, running the video switching board, running the AV equipment, playing the music, running down, doing mic runs, changing batteries, boom, boom, boom. And I was just like, this is it. This is like, if you want to learn this stuff, these are the guys. This was a finely tuned machine. These guys had it down.
What's really cool is you had the wherewithal to know that this is what you wanted. And then what you did is you set your desire out there and you got it. That's very, very inspiring. That's how come I wanted you here.
And it's so, you got to be careful when you do that. And you got to be willing. If it comes up, you can't go, I'll just put it off. It's like when it comes up, either you believe in God or the universe or one energy or whatever it is, there's like something knocking on your door and you got to jump in. You just got to jump in. So I was with Peak Potentials for the longest time. We were doing huge events. We did like Pasadena, California. We did like 7,000 people, 2 different ballrooms with video feed and audio feed going down the hallway to another room with another 1,000 people in it. These huge events.
So you're the go-to guy when it comes to events.
I've done it all. I've done video.
I know that time is running out for how much time we have to talk with each other. What is the best way for people to get a hold of you? I mentioned LinkedIn. So can you give your LinkedIn profile to everyone?
Just go to Johnny Fraser E, because I think it's clever. My middle name is Edward, but I use John E because it sounds like Johnny. Yeah. But it's John with the letter E, Fraser on LinkedIn.
Perfect.
Zen AV Services on Facebook. ZenEVServices@gmail.com. My biggest project I got on the go right now is called What to Know Before the Show. and it's resources on how to do this stuff for yourself. Like a lot of people want to create their own thing, or they don't have the finances to put a whole team together.
Yeah.
And they just be doing 20 to 40 people events.
Wow.
So this is how to set up your own AV equipment, do your own recordings, how to use the basic microphone, how to put a musical playlist together, how to, if you're a lone wolf out there doing it for yourself, I don't recommend doing that for very long. And as you grow, you're going to need to bring on a team. Yes. So go check that out. But also, you know what? Send me an email at zenavservices@gmail.com, and we can just set up a call, something like this, and I'll find out where you're at and where you want to go.
Nice. I'm actually really interested in what you just said, between 20 and 30 people. I'd be fascinated to see what it is that you've done. Now you piqued my curiosity for more. Maybe what's going to happen is we're going to go through that whole process for everyone and then give a special offer to everybody. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
Who was your greatest inspiration, when it came to this whole process? What made you want to change?
When I was working with Peak Potentials, they did a retreat called Enlightened Warrior Camp, and there was I can't tell you too much what went on because we took an oath of secrecy about what went on, but they had a process that I was the AV guy for in the room every day at this camp, and it was called Predicament. And I was there with the guy who designed. His name is Satyen Raja. He lives in Vancouver, I think White Rock. Satyen Raja, that dude changed my life, and what changed it for me was, we were doing a thing called the back off drill, and he didn't have enough facilitators. So he said, dude, you're just standing in there at the back, not doing much of anything at all. Do you want to come in and help facilitate? I'm like, put me in. I'm ready. He puts me into the process. We go through the first person. He comes over and he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, that's enough. You can go back to the DJ table. I don't need you right now. I was like, your ego takes a bit of a, like, what did I do wrong or whatever? He sat me down at lunch, said, what were you doing out there? And I was like, I'm just trying to be like, I'll try act the way you want me to act. And he was like, he said to me, and I wrote down here, he said, where'd it go here? When you're in service of others, you are to focus on the people you are serving and not on yourself. And I've taken that to everything I do. So when I'm helping people design their event, when I'm coaching them how to present from stage, like most people that get nervous on stage are because they're thinking about themselves. What if I screw up? What if I forget my script? What if people hate me? And how you get rid of those nerves is completely focus on your audience. Like, what you've already written the script, you already have it down, what you're going to do. That stuff's already sorted out. Focus on your audience, and it's amazing. Your nerves will go right away because you're now in service mode.
Well, let's talk about exactly the products and services that you're providing for individuals. So you're are you providing the full before, middle, and after process when it comes to setting presentations?
So I will take you from you having an idea of what you want to create and give you, it's called a logistics master. And it's basically, it's not your script, but it's how your event unfolds itself. And you use this template, and all you do is, you drop in whatever content piece you want to talk about. It could be real estate and finding the right house. Mm-hmm. So that'll just be your content part. Down this column will be the time. So this section, you're going to talk about it between 9 and 10:15. But within that section, there's going to be a video clip. There's going to be a Q&A. You're going to need some mic runners. There's also going to be a handout, which you're going to need some music playing in the background while you have a handout.
And you do all of this?
Yes. That's just the one document. But also the cool thing about your logistics master is once you've got it done, you take this thing and you can replicate it. You just take it to a different country any time of the year, and you hand it to your AV company, or you just hand it to your staff, and they just run through this thing. So it's in like the theater world and the movie world, it would be like your production notes. Mm-hmm. So it's not your script. Your script is what you're saying from stage. It's what's happening while you're speaking from stage, what's happening in the back of the room.
So you've worked with people like T.R. Becker, you've worked with Cal and Rush, you've worked with, these are all people in the industry, by the way, if you don't know that. You've worked with Satyen Raja. Who else have you worked with?
Jack Canfield I did an event with.
Cool.
I bet
the list goes on and on.
There's a bunch.
Yeah.
There's a bunch, but really, like, you know, and a lot of those people are great. Some of them are well known, but their events are a little flat.
Okay.
So what you can do is, what we do is you just start with these documents. Start with your logistics master. You start out with getting all the gear you need, and just the gear you need, not going above and beyond. I do a whole rant on PowerPoint and how people are brutal with their PowerPoint by putting like their whole script up on the PowerPoint. So you don't have to use a lot of technology. What I try to talk to people about is about the level of creating intimacy with your audience. So that's the whole purpose of putting a live event. When you create a level of intimacy with your audience, you are now putting them in an emotional state. They now have an emotional stake in the information you're delivering from stage, that it's going to help change their life. Once you put them in an emotional state, they now have an investment, literally and figuratively, an investment in what you're saying and what you can do for them. So that means at the end of your event, it's going to be a lot easier to offer your other programs, products, and services, because they're already like, wow, like I feel that this guy is the right guy for me. I feel like, and your event, you know, you got to put on an event that changes their life.
So you do all of this. You actually go through the opening process. You go through the middle process. You actually help them create desire. And you run through the whole sales cycle, and then you actually help out with the sales script as well and the closing.
I do not do scripts. I don't.
That's where Callan comes in.
That's where Callan can come in. Callan's really good at writing script. I'm the logistics guy. Yeah. I'm a logistics guy. I'll help you create the backbone. You put in the muscle and the skin and all the other gooey, gross parts in there to make it a full-bodied workshop, if you use the pun. But I don't help write scripts because you know what you want to say. You know how to say it best.
So it's just another. Well, I understand what it is. It's another part of the team that you're working with. So what you're doing is you're dealing with making sure the whole event goes perfectly and smoothly, so that the presenter can come and do their job, and they don't have to work on all the logistics and the whole timing process, and making sure that it flows well. Because with all your many, I'm going to say thousands of experience hours, you're going to know what flows well, what doesn't flow well, and give those great suggestions. Well, who would you say? Is there a favorite book that you would recommend to anyone that kind of got you open-minded to be? Because I mean, I from this talking just right now, I've seen where you've been, where you wanted to be, and how you've gotten there. It's pretty exciting. What's keeping you motivated to keep on going? Which books, let's say?
You know, there's a bunch. Because when I first started going to workshops and stuff, I just became a cookie monster, just like, give me more, give me more. There's a ton of books out there. And I knew you were going to ask this question. So I wrote down 2 books. One of them, I think people just need to experience. It's called Lenny Bruce. It's basically written by Lenny Bruce. It's Lenny Bruce, How to Talk Dirty and Influence People. And it's not really a how-to book. It's a how he did it. And why I feel like Lenny Bruce inspired me. When I was a teenager, I had a poster of his. I was like, no one else I even knew who Lenny Bruce was, but in my bedroom wall, I had a poster of Lenny Bruce. And what Lenny Bruce did was he always strived for the truth and honesty. And I'm feeling like, especially in this world now, the workshop world and the online world, there's a more of a perception of what you want to give people as opposed to an honesty and authenticity. You can even go to a workshop to learn how to be authentic. And it's like, I don't know if it's a workshop. I think it's a choice. Like, you can choose to be yourself and let all that, whatever you think is crap or not good enough or whatever, come out, which is really what people want to see. Like they say when you're writing your script, when you're writing your workshop, when you're putting on a workshop, you want to demonstrate 2 things. You want to just demonstrate your expertise. You know what you're doing. You know, you can lead these people where they want to go. But the most important piece is to demonstrate your humanity, that you're a human being. There's a lot of workshopy people out there that have this, they're way up here and you're way down here and you need to come up to where they are. I don't know if that's exactly true. I think that if you demonstrate who you are, warts and all, that's going to show people, because really when you get on stage, you're going to show people a different way of being. Your yourself as the example, your this is where I was and this is where I am now. Would you like to learn how to do that part of yourself? They're already on board. Hey, I want to be like you, or at least show me how you got there. And if it's something I can vibe with, then I'll come with you. But what you want to show them is that you're a human being. And when you do that, then they're more likely to go, okay, I can do that too. And once they go, I can do that too, they're more open to listen to you. The information, they're going to be absorb it better. And they're going to buy your program, product, and service at the end, which is going to help you create a business out of this, which is ideally what everyone wants to do. They want to, maybe quit their day job, and learn how to be a public speaker or a professional speaker, lead their own workshop. But the side of that is creating a business out of it, a way of generating income out of it. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. And that's by balancing your humanity and your expertise.
Second book. Do you have a second one?
Second book. I just reread it. I have this book sitting in my bookcase. It is like beaten to a pulp, but I've reread it. Everyone needs to read this book. If you've never read it, but you probably have. Jonathan Livingston's Seagulls by Richard Bach.
It's an amazing book.
It's about a seagull, but this seagull wants to be the best this seagull can be, and his ups and downs, literally ups and downs. Simple story, painfully easy to read. I reread it in about an hour. Super quick read, but for me, what it teaches me is that it's really important to remember that it's better to try and fail than to never try at all.
Nice.
And so if your listeners out there have something they want to get out there to the world, you just got to do it. Like you can practice it in front of your mirror, but there's nothing like just getting in front of an audience and sharing your method, sharing your inspiration, sharing your program, product, or service, whatever it is. And all that said, make sure it's something that is actually beneficial to the world.
Right on. And
to make lives better.
3 bits of wisdom before we end, or 1 to 3 pieces of wisdom. Do you have any wisdom you can provide for us that will help the viewers get
I am a chatter, so I went the full gamut and I got 3. Nice. Okay. Number 1, it's all about your audience. Like I said earlier, if you want to write good content, focus on what your audience needs. If you want to motivate yourself to get out there and actually do this stuff, focus on the suffering that your audience is going through right now because you're not out there doing it.
Now, I have a question. Interesting question. Does it matter if it's online or in person?
Focus on your audience.
Nice.
Where's your audience going to both best receive it? Like, I'm a huge proponent of live events, not only because I love being there, I love doing them, and I love getting paid to help people create these things, but I think there's a big impact you can make having people all in the same room together. They can network. Energy. There's energy underneath it that you're probably not going to get the same energy in a webinar or in a Facebook Live. But if you have to reach your audience and it's easier for you to do it over Facebook Live, then do it over Facebook Lives. But focus on your audience. Like, is this what they want? And maybe use your Facebook Live to bring them all over, underneath one roof. So really it's about learning about your audience, where they like to meet, how they like to take it, how they like to gobble in their information. So focus on your audience. Number 2, create an intimate experience. And I mentioned this a little bit before, but sharing any information with your audience is about creating intimacy. So that could be on your Facebook Live, your webinar, but you need to create this level of intimacy so they want to listen a little bit longer. So they want to, they know that you know their problem, that you understand their problem, and you're not just another person trying to sell them snake oil, that you truly know them. So this is about doing some market research, getting out there, joining some Facebook groups of people that are in the same kind of realm that you want to meet, those kind of people. I belong to a lot of Facebook speaking groups. I do some speaking on videos and a little bit in person, but mostly it's because I want to find out what they're needing, and I want to be the one to deliver that service. So I find out, I go on there and I read through a bunch of people's things. If I see a common question or trouble, man, I'll just create a video on it. And I'll go, here's your video.
So you're doing lead generation using social media and so on, and then and then you're helping people the whole way through, taking Sachin Raja recommended, and then what you're doing is you're finding people that are ready to go with presentations that they want to have 1,000 to 3,000, or what's the minimum amount of people that you'll help in a room? 1,000 people?
10.
10. Oh, that's even better.
Because you can run different kinds of models. Like I'm working with a guy in Vancouver. We just had a call today, and he wants to have 10 to 18 people at a retreat in a mansion in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Few people, high ticket price to get into this event, but you're going to be free diving, skydiving, walking on hot coals. You're going to be eating vegan food that's created by the chef on site.
Wow.
People pay high ticket amount for that. Like, also when I said intimacy, the more intimate you can get, the more value that is in for the person. So one-on-one is way more intimate than one on 100. So, that's where one-on-one coaching comes in, because you can get right into this person's issues specifically and tailor your coaching for them. Yeah. Ultimately, intimate would be one-on-one coaching sitting across from the person.
Yeah.
So it's about creating that intimacy to however many people it takes. Like, some people can do a bigger room of 5,000 people. Tony Robbins can do 5,000 people. He's got a huge energy. The dude's also he's a huge human being. He's like 6'9" or something. His teeth are like the size of 2x4s. Like, he is a huge human being. But he also has big video screens up in his room, so that you're sitting at the back of the room and he's still, you can still see his body, big size, which creates that intimacy that he's not as far away as he actually is. Oh, cool. So 10 people, one-on-one, 1 to 1,000. It's about how well you can create that level of intimacy.
Cool.
And how you do that. Number 3 is don't do it all yourself. I just hired a coach last week who's helping me get over some money stuff I've got, which I feel like is stifling my level of success to here, and I want to get up here.
Yeah.
So it's important to not, read a book, join a Facebook group, go to a webinar, take a class at your community center, go to a workshop, join a mastermind group, hire a coach or consultant, but don't try to. I don't know who said it, but someone famous once said that you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it.
I think that was
a lot of people. He sounds smart enough to have said something like that. So people tend to, I can just figure this out. I've got the gumption and the know-how to figure it out. And they just end up going around and around, and then 10 years goes by, 15 years goes by, and then they go, oh, it's too late, So if you have any issue where you're stuck, find a book, find a DVD set, find a coach, hire a consultant, grow a team around you, like putting on live events. You can put on a live event with, I call it your production pod. It's 3 people. The trainer on stage, your event supervisor who runs the whole back end of the event, and your AV tech who makes sure all the technical gear in the room is set up. That's your production pod of 3 people. It makes the trainer's life on stage so much easier when they don't have to worry about if music's queued up. Well, the microphone's going to work.
John, you have just inspired me to learn way more about your industry. I had a little bit of knowledge about it, but now you've just exploded my mind to now I want to fill it with more information.
Oh my God, we've only just begun.
This is the great news. We'll have to come. Yeah. We'll have to have you come for more and more presentations like this to help people along. It's only going to help all of us that are listening. So, John, if there's any last closing remarks, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. I mean, literally, it was a question I asked on Facebook. It was a survey question, right, about presentations, I think it was. And here we are doing a presentation right away. One of the things you said you liked is that you like a man of action who takes action right away. So let that everyone's lesson here, that if you have something cool that you want to do, or you have an idea that you want to actually see come to fruition, take action, set the time, and it doesn't matter how imperfect it is or how perfect it is. It's that process that we're looking for, and it's that allows us to have success. So I hope.
T. Harv Eker used to say, "Ready, fire, aim."
Yes, yeah. Well,
re-aim.
Today, everyone here today wishes you the ceiling of your financials, where you're at, is going to be pushed above your head, and you're drowning in so much money that it's a good thing. And everyone here
I don't want to drown
themselves too.
I just want to get on the road with my girlfriend and our cat, motorhome, and see this wonderful world we live in.
Very cool.
Yeah.
John, thank you again for spending time with me today. I appreciate it. And how do we get a hold of you again? Let everyone know, because they should go to your web.
You know what? Just cut to the chase.
Just what your.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, your LinkedIn.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, LinkedIn. John E. Fraser on LinkedIn with the letter E.
Yeah.
Zen EV Services on Gmail. Zen EV Services on Facebook. What to know before the show on Facebook. Drop me a friend request. We'll set up a chat like this, and we'll just find out where you want to go. And if I can help you get there, man, I'm on your side.
And I'll put the links all together so that people can get a hold of us that way too. Awesome.
Sounds perfect.
Well,
yeah.
Until our next interview, talk to you soon, everyone.